Hello, it is the 24th of February and I wasn't gonna vlog, but I just started by it was like, technically it was last week, but I like majority have been like thinking about it more this week. So I just started a new series and it's very much just an outline. And before it was more of an outline of like different scenes I had in my head, like just small things. And then yesterday I actually started the like writing an outline, which is why I say just started. What is this? Oh. But yeah, it's been really exciting. The outline is very choppy right now because I don't really know where the story's gonna go. It is full fantasy. I have no idea what it's gonna be called. I don't know what the series is gonna be called. I have an idea of what the books are gonna be called, which is so funny. It's complete opposite to the series I'm writing right now because I have no idea what any of the titles are gonna be. But in terms of like the the complete plot, don't know. I know like the romance, because this one's gonna be a lot heavier on romance than the series I'm currently writing. Like the series I'm currently writing, the first book, romance is more like a subplot. The rest of the books have romance, but it's like less following the relationships and more following, family dynamic, friend relationships with romance. My character has a boyfriend kind of thing. This one is going to be like, we're straight following those two characters and their romance. So I already know pretty much how the romance is going to go. I guessed how many chapters I'm going to have in this book. Very much guessed. I just wrote roughly this many chapters. And then I guessed where I want like the takeoff to the romance to be and stuff. So I don't remember what chapter it was, 20 something ish or like 15 ish, whatever. I wrote something ish, the number ish, and then I was like, this is where it happens, because I'm like, I don't actually know, especially because I don't have a plot. But I started doing like I don't remember what this is called either, but that line for it, and I haven't done this since high school, middle school, like long time. So this is fun. Also, this is not gonna be big enough for me to write stuff down, especially because I don't know. I also need to make the world. I need to create the problem. I think I just need to write it out. And I also, I have another paper on this too. I have like a whole sheet of like, I was writing down my thoughts. I'm doing this shit during class too. This is really bad. I'm not paying attention in my classes, but I've been using a lot more like papers to like write out my thoughts for this one, and I think it helps because it is a fantasy world. So I'm like, I don't even know what the story's gonna be. So there's that. But I wanted to get into this. I wanted to do start a new project with me. I'm gonna be outlining this throughout the week, so throughout the rest of February, and then throughout March. Then hopefully by the end of March, we'll have this first book's outline done, and we'll start book 2, and then throughout April, I'll do book 2, and then again, outline throughout May for book 3 kind of thing. I don't plan on writing these for a while, at least until like June, July, at the very least, because I have other books planned first. But yeah, it's really exciting. I really like my characters, so I'm having a great time. Hello, it is the 25th of February. I don't remember when I started this, but I have been adding a little bit to the outline of this new story. The problem is, I think I figured out that this outline isn't going to be the same as the outline of my current series. So my current series, I outlined the entire book before writing it, and I outlined each chapter. So like in each chapter, I knew what was going to happen and essentially how many scenes there were going to be, because I knew what happened in each scene. I don't think I'm going to know that here. I think I'm going to know like an idea of the scenes that are like, once I have the outline written, I'm going to know an idea of the scenes, but they're not going to be, essentially they're like this now, like full paragraphs. Those are the first couple chapters, and then the rest are like a couple lines, because I genuinely don't know. Mind you, I'm still very early in this. I think the bigger problem is it's fantasy, so I'm like, I don't know my world yet. So I'm still trying to arc out what's gonna happen. I kind of already know the climax. I know pretty much the ending and the pretty much, not entirely, the ending and the climax. So I need the steps to get there. Like, what are the problems we're gonna sprinkle in to get there? But yeah, I haven't figured that out yet, which is like why I can't do the actual outlining of the story, because I don't know what scenes I'm gonna need. I don't know how many like sprinkles I'm gonna need and all that stuff. So as I take the next month or so to figure that out, as I like put most of my focus on the other series, I'm just gonna sprinkle in with this video. But one thing that is coming to me quite easily is different scenes. Right now we have 13 scenes written out. Some of them are like longer, some of them are a few pages, whereas some of them are more like a little, let me find one of the shorter ones. Okay, most of them are longer, but like some of the shorter ones are like right here. It's just that tiny little scene and it's just like a couple words of dialogue. Those I have, obviously it's not really there because I don't know how the story's gonna go, so I might change it, but I have like an approximate of which chapter I want it in, which is mostly just saying like the timeline, like where I want it to go, and then in just brackets like have like scene 10, and then in this scenes folder I have them numbered by like the ones that I've thought of and written out. They're not like written out how I'd write it in like in the actual book, but it's not an outline either. It's kind of like in the middle, so it's closer to like what would be in the book, but I would obviously clean it up and probably change it a little bit once I actually write the book. But I've been finding these scenes so fun and they've just been coming to me every time I think of something small. Let me tell you, this book has been distracting me during class though, because it's all on Zoom. I just scoop my screen over and then I end up on this page. Or let me like move this over. I have started this little thing for it, so I've been working on that. Today I started an arc for one of the characters in the series, like a small little arc of like what I think the problem is, the villain of the story. But there's still so much to figure out, which is like fine because I have a while to figure it out. But yeah, it's so exciting. I really enjoyed this story. Like, I feel like I'm really gonna enjoy it. And I really love our main character. She's spunky. Hello, it is the last day of February and I was writing, but I think I just needed time away from that series that I'm writing, from the book that I'm writing. We're at the like climax scene too, but I'm just like, I'm not feeling in the mood to write that specific type of scene because it's like the fight scene. So I moved over to a new little project, and then I have this little 7-point story structure and a romance arc that I got from Katie from Kate's Book Date. I mention her a lot on this channel, but like if you sign up to her newsletter you kind of get access to it. But essentially what she did, she took Romancing the Beat, which is a book, like it's like a 100-page book, like really small, which basically gives you all the arcs that for a romance book, and she kind of like fit it with the 7-point story structure, and then she kind of just gave everyone access to it. So I was going through it because I was like, I want to see, based on the outline I have for this new project, how are we fitting in with this? And I pretty much, I've said this before, I pretty much only have the first 4.5 chapters actually outlined, like fully outlined. Fully. The rest of them are like bare bones. Some chapters I completely skipped, like fully. I go from like, it's not even a full thing. I go 7/8 because I don't know which one it'd be, and then I go straight to 10. Like, I'm just skipping around. But I figured, since I have the first few done, let me see if I can have that like first section So like the romance arc has 4 sections. It has the setup, the falling in love, retreating from love, and fighting for love. So I was like, okay, let's see if we even have the setup section. And I don't know what H1 and H2 stand for, but it says intro H1, intro H2. Oh, Hook 1 and Hook 2. Oh, actually, that makes a lot of sense. That actually makes a lot more sense. So that is pretty much what I was looking through. And my chapter 1 fits. Chapter 2 fits. And then it's the meet cute, which happens at the end of chapter 3, fits. Then we have the No Way one, which, okay, some of these I don't really know what they are because I'm gonna get Romancing the Bee and I'll actually read it, so I'll know what all this is about. But I'm pretty sure No Way one means like no way this isn't happening. That happens. And then there's the adhesion plot thrust, which is like you're getting thrown into plot turn number 1 for like the 7-point story structure. I have that too. I was just sitting here like smiling at myself because I did all that not knowing the 7-point story structure, not knowing any of those. It's just, I feel like for me it's just because, you know, as a writer slash more importantly as a reader, you pick up on how a story is kind of supposed to go. So I think just instinctively I knew that that's how it's supposed to be. Like I knew certain things you need to have in the story. But it's nice to have like a reassurance on the side. But yeah, I don't know. I think what this outline is gonna end up being is gonna be more, for the most part, more like sentences of like, and then this happens. And then when I'm actually writing, I'll just take the like one line for what happens and try to actually make out a full scene. I think in this case, that's gonna work better. I do have specific like scenes written out. I have like 12 of them written out so far. Some of them are like pages long. So those will be thrust in. But in terms of the romance section of this, kind of, okay, it makes sense too because wait, pause. Okay, here's the problem. I don't know what a pinch point means. This is for 7-point story structure. What's a pinch point? I don't know what that means. But I think I know this one. Okay, anyway, I'm excited to write this story, but I don't know when I'm gonna do it. But whenever I do it, I think it'll be a ton of fun. I will say, this little structure is helping me. I'm pretty much just paying attention. Oh crap. Just paying attention to the romance structure of it. And what I did is I kind of wrote out right here all of them, and then approximately, I can only approximate right now because I don't know what chapter each like arc will fall into, which I guessed for the most part because I already knew like a couple of the chapters approximately where I wanted them, so I kind of fit those, and then I fit around it everything else. I haven't finished applying chapter 2 section, but because I did that, I was able to like work backwards and try to figure out what's gonna lead to that. So for the romance section of it, I pretty much got it. I still don't really know the full story, but I'm getting more of the romance. More of it. I don't actually know what the full scenes are gonna be. I don't know, you know, anything specific like that, but I know like the overarching, how it's gonna go. So that was actually pretty helpful. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think it was gonna be, but it was. Okay, it's not perfect and I cheated, but I got an idea of which chapters are gonna go with which section. I'm saying I cheated because one of the parts says midpoint, and that is definitely not the midpoint of my story, but I don't care. So we're gonna pretend that is the midpoint of the story, and that because basically it's more like the third point. You know, like if you break it up into thirds, it's like the first third point. But I don't care, so we're gonna go along with it. I mean, it's not the third point, it's a little bit more, but like it's definitely not the midpoint. So actually the midpoint is like way farther down. I completely cheated, but I don't care. At least we went through it, because it doesn't say like, that's a lie. Because this next to the 7-point structure does say when it's supposed to happen. Do I care? No. I'm not gonna follow it, but it's close enough. And that's all I'll say. So I did another half hour of writing and then another half hour of outlining. Technically I'm supposed to be moving on to writing again, but I think I'm gonna give myself like 15 to 30 minute break, and then I'll probably go write again and then probably outline again, let's not lie. But I just started a different page, different like file in my document on relationships within the story. So like specific characters, like this person and this person, this person and this person, like straight up, not everyone, but like the most important characters, their relationships to each other. And then I kind of did it with like underneath in bullet points, like chapter like 1, if they have a scene together, chapter 1 this, chapter 2 this, so that I can kind of see how the relationship goes, and like how you know, often I actually have them together and stuff. I have my 2 love interests, like my main character and the love interests, all the scenes that I already have in mind, like that I already know of, done, which has also helped me figure out what like a scene to put in one of the chapters, so that was really nice. But I also started our main character's relationship with a few other people. It's obviously not done, but I have a starting point for it, so that'll be nice, because I want to make sure that the characters are well thought out, and like I don't just say, you know, this person's the best friend, but then you don't really get a relationship that like signifies best friendship. But I really like this idea. When I go in to edit book number 1 next week of the series I'm currently writing, I'm gonna do the same. It's gonna take a while, but I'm gonna do the same thing, and I'm gonna like get all the relationships down, and then I'm gonna start going through how it's progressing so that I don't drop the ball, you know? Hello, it's a few days after that last clip, and I haven't worked on that story at all in the last couple days, pretty much because I've been like pretty hectic with school. But I am going into edits in a couple days for my first book, so I don't know how much more I'll be working on this outline. I mean, I'll definitely be sprinkling it in throughout the month, but I think I'm just gonna leave this video here. But yeah, it is a very exciting project, and I'm just really excited for it. But yeah, I am glad I got to document this little start of the new project, because I'll look back at it and like when I publish it, I'll look back at it when I publish like, hey, this is when I started.